In the year 2028, one Big Mac will equal $1 million. From the Gospel of John McAfee. Bro, just learn to code. The Project Freedom Podcast.
Boom. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Myself, I am Josh. You know me as Eat Live Program, and this is the Project Freedom Podcast. Man, I probably got punished in the algorithm hard for taking 10 days off, but guys, I really needed that. So I really needed that. So I don't even know if this video is even going to show up in people's I guess, is it a timeline, guys, on YouTube? Probably not. It's called something else. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about, though, right? But tonight, I wanted to talk about something that I've actually been doing a little bit more research into, and that is DAOs. D-A-O-S. You know what, guys? I should do this too. Why don't we just go ahead and show you guys the whiteboard? The good old whiteboard. All right, so let's see. Boom. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see the whiteboard? You guys see my mouse? All right, so DAO. All right, D-A. Actually, I should make that a capital A. D-A-O. And we'll give it the lowercase s. DAOs. What does that stand for? Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Okay. All right, guys. A decentralized autonomous organization. So let's just talk about all three of these words first, because I want to make sure people understand like what a DAO is. Because I'm not like pointing fingers at places or protocols in particular, but there's like some things that people say like, oh, this is a DAO, that's a DAO, and they claim to be a DAO, but they're not. Maybe they don't know that they're not, but and I don't think, and I'm not pointing fingers at anything, and I don't think it's like malicious by any extent, but there actually is. You actually have to like fill a certain criteria to be a quote unquote DAO. Okay. I got Gerolsteiner tonight, guys. Gerolsteiner, because apparently I'm still dehydrated, guys. I went and got an IV. I went and got an IV with Jonathan MLD and Joe for Proud Masculine on today's the 3rd, I think like the 27th. And I had two bags of fluids. And like when I was sitting there with the IV in my arm, I actually got hooked up after John, like probably like 20 minutes after him. And my bag finished, like I finished half of the bag before he even finished like a quarter. And the lady was like, damn, you're fucking dehydrated. You must have been drinking a lot. And I actually only had like 2 dirty martinis 2 nights prior before that. So I got the point is that, guys, sorry, I didn't mean to get off the topic. Gerolsteiner, guys, if you guys don't know, this is the most bomb ass sparkling water ever. And it's full of potassium and electrolytes. Okay. Back to the whiteboard. Okay, guys. So what makes a DAO a DAO is all three of these words. You kind of have to beat or reach each of the criteria. Okay. So if we want to get to the decentralized part of it, basically, and I guess I have to explain this part first because this won't make sense, but a DAO, let's just say it's this thing, and this thing is run off of code, primarily smart contracts. If you guys don't know what smart contracts are, go watch my video about smart contracts. Actually, there's probably like 3 or 4 videos I have about smart contracts, but watch that video in your spare time if you want to understand what a smart contract is. But let's just say that that's code. All right. So it's code. All right. So you got your like public, static, whatever. All right. Just 2 random keywords. And maybe this is not a piece of paper, but this is a virtual piece of paper that has code on it, right? It's a text editor. This code has to be deployed somewhere on a decentralized computing protocol, right? A decentralized computing network like Ethereum, like Polygon, like insert whatever smart contract compatible layer 1 blockchain here. And if you guys don't know what a smart contract compatible layer 1 blockchain is, you gotta go back to some other videos. I'm sorry, I don't want to explain that today. But that's what gives it the criteria of being decentralized. So once that smart contract or that code is pushed to the blockchain, the chain of blocks, man, that is a beautiful drawing. Look at that. It looks like a bunch of scribble scratch pedals. Guys, I am the worst. I have the worst handwriting out of anybody I know. And I also cannot draw at all. It is my biggest, most powerful inverse skill. But it's okay because I don't need to know how to draw. Nor do I really care to. All right. So criteria number 1, this DAO is driven from code, and that code needs to be on a decentralized. It has to be, well, I guess by definition, doesn't have to be on a decentralized network. If there's some other way that it can be decentralized that I don't know about, or that doesn't exist yet, then there you go. But that is criteria number 1. All right. The second criteria, what makes it autonomous, is the fact that it can essentially do and run its basic processes without anybody having to maintain it. Okay. So honestly, guys, if you guys know like what a vending machine is, right? A vending machine, maybe it's got like maybe it's Coke, C-O-K-E, Coca-Cola. And they sell like 18 different Coca-Cola brand owned. What does Coke own, guys? Sprite, Coke own. Does Coke own Sprite? Okay, whatever. They have regular Coke. They got Diet Coke. They got Coke Zero. They got the new and improved Coke Zero. Maybe they have cherry vanilla Coke. What's another Coke you guys like? Vanilla Coke, just regular vanilla Coke. I think that stuff is gross. But anyway, so guys, a vending machine basically is a machine that has software inside of it that can sell ice cold beverages to anybody without having to have a human do the transaction. So you give it money, right? You go to the vending machine, you give it money. Maybe you have your debit card. Maybe you're super fancy and use your iPhone and you go and you use like your Apple Pay and you Apple Pay on it, whatever, right? But you're not giving a person money initially, right? You're just putting it into the machine and then you're telling it, hey, I paid this much. I want the Coke, and it gives you the Coke, right? That whole kind of process is kind of autonomous in nature. Excuse me. Except the only fact that makes it not completely autonomous is that these things inevitably break and they need maintenance, or you have to come and like take the cash out and put more cash in because people need change sometimes, blah, 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 blah. But you can kind of think of that as autonomous. It has a processes that run that don't really require a lot of maintenance. So that's what makes it autonomous. And that's also driven by the smart contract over here. Like the smart contract, maybe there's like 2 or 3 separate smart contracts. They can all interact with each other in this protocol. All right. Whatever way you want to rig it. Okay. That is what makes it autonomous. And then the organizational part, this part isn't like, there's not like a whole much criteria about this. Like obviously there has to be a set of people who make decisions on this thing, right? And that's what makes it an organization. To be more specific, and I guess I actually will spend time explaining this a little bit because this part's important. Like in the DAOs that we're going to talk about, or that we're really talking about tonight, and that you guys are probably here to listen to or learn about, most likely a DAO that is cryptocurrency based in nature, which actually, to get these things to work correctly, to incentivize them to be done correctly and for people to do things the correct way, they kind of have to have some kind of cryptocurrency to drive it. But anyway, these DAOs usually have some kind of token or cryptocurrency. Really, it's a digital asset. Guys, you know what? I think 2022 is going to be the year. I think 2022 is going to be the year where people stop saying the word cryptocurrency, because like we already know that most of these things aren't fucking currencies, right? And also that gives it a bad rap too. Like That's what makes Uncle Sam want to come and, regulate them. But a digital asset, okay, that runs and powers these things. And like, you can think of it like this, like maybe, most of you guys probably know what Uniswap is, right? So I don't know what the total supply of Uniswap tokens are, but let's just say that there's 1 million. I think it's probably 10 million actually. But let's just say it's 1 million for simplicity's sake here, right? 10 million total tokens. Okay. And each of these tokens can be equal. So 1 token equals 1 vote. Okay. And the people owning the tokens can use them to cast a vote on proposals that come and whether or not they're going to pass. So like people in the community or the developers or literally anybody, whatever the criteria is for that specific one, like if it's just to go on the form and to post an idea on the form, like, hey, I think we should change the liquidity pool numbers to XYZ, blah, 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 blah. And if that forum post gets enough like up thumb votes or whatever, gets enough likes, then it'll go to an actual vote. And then people can go to a specific website, interact with a smart contract that checks the balance of their tokens and allows them to have that many votes. And that's what gives, so the power to vote with this thing, which is really what drives the changes of these protocols, these organizations, these DAOs, these decentralized autonomous organizations. That's what gives these tokens their value, okay? So that is what makes a DAO an actual DAO and not something else. Capiche, guys? Capiche? Let me check in with you guys because I've ignored you guys since I started. Nonstop Dre 360 says, normies, : the robots took our jobs. Yeah, that's actually, how can I not forget? I have my notes over here, guys, and wouldn't even pay attention to them. To be honest with you, the obviously like the whole title of the video, the thumbnail wasn't a clickbaity thumbnail, right? But the title was DAOs to replace jobs, right? Now, I actually believe that is going to happen, but it's going to be a benefit to you guys and it's going to be a net positive and not a net negative, right? And I can kind of try to explain why I believe that's the case. We are indeed going to talk about that tonight. But yes, that is what the normies would immediately default to, right? You were very correct, Nonstop Dre. Andy Mack in the house says, what's up? What is up, my favorite Canadian friend? Well, Andy, I guess you're my second favorite Canadian. Only because I know Greg longer than you. But Andy, how is it up there in the Canuck land? Is everything all right? I heard you guys, I won't use the L down word, but Greg, you're in the ELP chat, aren't you, Andy? Greg was saying that you guys can't move to and from place to place, but you guys can leave the country and come into the US. And I was like, dude, first of all, the rules don't make sense, but just come, dude. Just come back to the US. Nonstop Dre says, your videos haven't been popping up my feed lately. Yes, because I took a 11-day break, actually. It was either 10 or 11 days. I actually haven't even been here, bro. I have not been here. I needed a break, bro. I needed a break. And I had people in town. And also, guys, I got sick and I'm still not feeling super, super great. If you guys can't tell, I'm sure it's kind of a little obvious, but yeah, I spent a lot of time in my bed and in this chair just relaxing. So that's why. When Emery says, hi, guys, good to be here. Yes, it is always a good day to be alive, isn't it, Wade? Is it not? Jim says, good vibes. Thank you, Jim. Good vibes to you and everyone else in here for sure. Annie Mac says, going over the Python slides as we speak. Good friend. Good. Josh, I'll argue that my writing is worse. I don't know, dude. Send me some pictures. I've been told people literally ask me, are you a doctor when they see my handwriting? I'm like, no, I just have really shitty handwriting. And that's another thing too, guys. Why is it that doctors have to have bad handwriting? One of my best childhood friends growing up is a doctor and his handwriting is fucking immaculate. Is it because they have to write the scripts and they just scribble? It's really just a signature, right? My signature is fucking beautifully ugly, though. Cody Moose in the Who says, Boom. Anyone remember Pepsi Blue? Question mark. No, Cody, but I remember the goddamn chocolate fondant. Just kidding, Cody. Just kidding. Yeah, Cody. Pepsi Blue. What about this one, Cody? What about this? By the way, guys, Cody Moose and the Who's #1 fondant, chocolate fondant stealer, Pepsi Crystal. Cody, do you remember this? Do you remember this one, Cody? This is what I really want to know if you remember. Do you remember Pepsi Crystal, bro? Pepsi Crystal? So you mean they didn't put coloring in it? They just made regular Pepsi and they didn't put coloring in it? Pepsi, or Crystal Pepsi, is a soft drink made by PepsiCo. It was first sold in Europe in the early 1990s, the United States, Canada, 1994. So I was at the oldest 3 years old, with brief releases through the mid 2010s. Okay, that's right. Because I remember that I was able to get some. But before I do remember this too, before they actually put this back out there, people were selling them on eBay, like unopened ones from like the early 90s. I guess people were gonna drink them. I don't know. Good grief. I don't remember Pepsi Blue though. I don't. Was it actually colored blue? Cody Mouse. Klaus. Oh my God. Cue up the X-Files theme song. Matt Debbie says, howdy, Josh. Good to see you, Matt. Good to see you. I remember Pepsi Blue. Shit was disgusting. All right, now I got to Google this, guys. Y'all are making me Google this. Pepsi Blue? You mean this, guys? Is this what Pepsi Blue is? It was actually blue. Berry-flavored soft drink produced by PepsiCo. Berry Cola Fusion. I don't remember that at all, guys. I don't. I guess it's just like a Fanta, right? Other than the fact that it was still cola flavored, apparently, right? Right? Or am I wrong? It was probably the best thing I ever tasted on earth. The chocolate fondant, that is. Oh, damn. I actually like Pepsi Blue. I was never a big fan of Crystal, TBH. I don't remember what Pepsi Crystal tasted like, to be completely honest with you. But, guys, back to the topic at hand. So, Mr. Nonstop Drake 360 over here, in regards to the normies, saying that the robots took their jobs. All right, guys. So I'm going to say what I believe first and what I think first about this. And then I have an article that I only briefly read, because you guys know I like to actually read the articles live with y'all to get like an organic reaction to it. But so what I believe that DAOs will replace most as far as jobs go is just kind of like the organizational structure of these jobs as a whole, right? So as opposed to, you having a company of 5,000 people that, maybe, I don't know, you're a software developer. Maybe you're a junior dev. You're like a level 1, or maybe you're even Susan in HR, or you're Megan from accounting or whatever, right? And you have a manager who has a manager, who has a manager, who has a manager, who has a manager. And like you're up the chain of command, you're like 13 people separated from the highest point of command that's in your area of the company or your department or whatever. That chain of people, guys, like, and don't get upset about this, guys. I'm just going to say it how I see it. And as someone who's worked at multiple large corporate organizations, that a lot of that's just kind of like adult babysitting, and there's really not like a whole lot of value produced, to be quite honest with you. All right, and that's again, if you got offended by that, well, sorry, I don't know what to tell you, but I venture to say that some other people wouldn't disagree with me, right? Not everyone would. Some people definitely would, but some people wouldn't, right? And having all those extra people, not only does it require the company to pay all these extra people extra money that could be allocated to maybe employees that are just doing the work in general, or the people that invested and created the company from the start. That is a net negative. All right. But on top of that, they have to have all these extra red tape in place, because there's a boatload more people. You have to keep the lights on and all these different more office rooms. And you have to have, like, it's just, there's so much, like, and at the same time, we all supposed to be like super excited about like being green, right? And not being carbon net neutral or whatever. A lot more people commuting back and forth to an office, right? So as a whole, I think you guys get what I'm trying to say here. That part, the large chunk of it that just requires kind of just like adult babysitting and just kind of really just red tape for nothing, that is most likely to be replaced first by DAOs, or I think that is what DAOs will be most beneficial to replace first and foremost. Okay. Now, I also think there's quite a few other things that the DAOs can replace that is going to be a net positive for humanity. Excuse me, guys. I had to mute that because I didn't want to cough directly in the mic. Oh, boys. Oh, fellas. All right. Raise your hand if you enjoy going to the DMV. No one raising their hands. No one raising their hands. You guys, you don't like going to the DMV? Oh my gosh. No way. Well, what if I told you that having a machine print a license or update a license plate or whatever could easily be done with software? Maybe it's a government governance DAO, and the government itself, its citizens can hold these tokens or whatever way that it's done in 2030 or whatever, right? They could vote whether or not they want to allow certain changes to the rules, LAWS laws, right? And things like, hey, you go to the DMV, there's some code that just checks and says, do you have a current ID? Do you have 3 forms of it? Oh, here's a birth certificate. Yes. Birth certificate, true. Previous driver's license equals true. Proof of, what is it like? You need like 6 months of bills in some states to like prove that, like, or a house lease or whatever. So whatever that, all those things are true, right? And then takes a picture, prints it out, gives you your license. Thank you very much. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So, and if anyone in here is listening and you work for the DMV, I'm sorry. I don't mean to put you down, but if we're being completely honest, I think you don't like your job anyway, so it's all good. Shh, I won't tell anybody. I know that you guys probably, if you DMV workers out there, you guys probably fucking hate your job. At least it seems that way anytime I go there. So they won't have to work that job that they absolutely hate anymore. They can go do something that they actually enjoy. And instead of having to wait into a massively long line, maybe the line might be a little bit smaller, and you don't have to depend on humans having to sort through mass amounts of records. All right. It can just check off a couple of checks, do some control flow logic, and check if these things that you're presenting are good or bad, and then print it out for you. Boom. That's perfect. Like, if we can get a DAO to replace in DMV, man, I will be a happy guy. You know, guys, I should have gone to the DMV like 2 months ago, and I have not. And that is why I don't want to go. You know what? Actually, let me write that down. Let me write that down, fellas. DMV DAO. Okay. Anyway, guys. Sam says, Pepsi Blue and going to the skate park is your first Gen Xterra while listening to Sum 41 in the year 2000. Oh my God. Throwback. That was literally me, except I couldn't drive, LMAO. Josh's spotted sweaty headband. Anybody remember me? That was a good run. Hey, you know what? Listen, bro. I'll go get it right now. Hold on, guys. I will go get the spotted sweaty headband. Hold on. What's up, guys? I'm Josh, or as you probably know me, eLift Program, and I'm here to talk to you about Developer Direction. What is Developer Direction, you might ask? We are the ultimate IT network and training academy. Ever heard of Fight Club? Yeah, it's kind of like that, but with more computing power. We teach and give courses just like boot camps, but that's not all. We help people actually get jobs, unlike colleges, and we help people get better jobs with better pay and a better life. Here at DD, you don't get grades because your performance is reflected upon by how good you're doing. There it is, guys. There it is. You all happy now? Spotted sweaty headband. It's back. Behold, friends, behold the spotted sweaty headband. Look, like, I feel like if I'm going to rock this, like, I feel like if we're going to rock this, it's got to be like a less serious stream. I guess it's not a serious stream, right? But I should probably at least wear the computer scientist lab coat, right? I'm too lazy to go get that. In fact, I think I just washed it and I threw it in the dryer on high heat and it got crinkly. So in order for me to get that out, guys, midstream, I'd have to iron it, steam it. Actually, I have a steamer because, and guys, if you don't know, if you're still using an iron to unwrinkle your clothes in the year 2022, because it's the year 2022 now, and not a steamer, you are missing out, my friends. You're missing out. F in the chat for Mr. Spotted. He's here, bro. He's still here. He's sitting on the sofa. Sitting on the sofa. What the hell is this comment? What? A bot in the chat? VUNNGO? What's the purpose of bots like this? What is this? What does this even do? That's not even URL, bro. What that is, bro? It's not even URL, right? Whoever wrote the script for this bot, you've had your developer card revoked, bro. You wrote shitty ass code. I'm sorry. Sam says, I love scheduling my DMV visit 3 weeks in advance in Florida City. Yeah. And by the way, in Florida now, guys, like, if you want to go to the DMV, at least here, there's so many new people here. Like, if you have to schedule, you can't just go, man, shit, I'm a small town Southern man and back in Louisiana. You didn't have to schedule an appointment for the DMV. You just walked right in there, brother. Shit. You have to schedule an appointment here, and they're all booked up for like months at the closest DMV to my house. Blah. Wait, Emery says, I hate the DMV. I'm sure you do, man. It's no surprise, no secret that nobody enjoys going to the DMV, right? The secret is going when everyone else is at work. Well, in New Orleans, it didn't matter what time you went or what DMV you went. The line was literally all the way out the door, all the way until 5 o'clock. And I'm talking about a line that was going all the way to the street, bro. And there's a big parking lot that line is going through. So the secret for us, what we used to do is we used to drive 30 minutes to St. Rose, Louisiana DMV, and hardly anybody was there. And even if it was rush hour at that time, there was maximum like 3 or 5 people ahead of you. So Josh Sweat Headband says, feel good to be back right on this moist forehead. Yes. It's good to have you back, Mr. Headband, as well. It's good to have you back. Headband plus lab coat equals Giga Dude Bro Shadow Coder. Yes, that is the vibe for sure. Bandana Josh, just Patricio. All right, guys. So let's get into this article now, shall we? Boom. So this is from Toy and Telegraph, guys. And let's actually delete the Pepsi Crystal tab and the Pepsi Blue tab over here because we're no longer talking about that. This article from Toy and Telegraph from January 1st, 2 days ago, by, who is this? Nitin Guar. I hope I pronounced your name correct, Mr. Nitin Guar. The title is DAOs are the foundation of Web3, which we kind of know. I mean, well, that might be a well, actually, hold on. Actually, if you were to think of it like this, as if like every Ethereum improvement proposal protocol requires consensus of the nodes, right? So it's kind of a DAO, and it's not on top of a decentralized computing network. It is a decentralized computing network. So, so the title, again, back to the title, DAOs are the foundation of Web3, the creator economy. And I think this is an easy one to explain, right? So if you guys don't understand the creator economy, like if you're like an artist, like a musician or a literal artist, NFTs, right, guys? And the future of work. So this last part, that's the part we're most interested in, right, guys? DAOs are a defining construct for everything that comprises the new decentralized internet, or Web3, and the emerging crypto economic system. Decentralized autonomous organizations started out as a simple concept, envisioned as organizations created by an idea and fueled by developers. that automate business functions and processes by leveraging smart contracts, like we talked about earlier, and all the fundamental tenets of blockchain. The core idea was to flatten the complex business process. What did I just say earlier, guys? The complex business process. So, like, what? A giant corporation. I mean, and it could probably be even less than this, right? But for all intents and purposes for this stream, a giant organization, a corporate organization that has like way too much red tape. It's way bloated. It's way over bloated. It's a bloated frog. It's going to burst, right? That's what we're talking about, right, guys? Complex business processes that various organizations are mired in and facilitate movement of assets to a very future-oriented digital interaction that needed no intermediaries. All right. So we were talking about the vending machine. Vending machines, kind of a DAO in a way, except it's not an organization. It's not decentralized. It's not completely autonomous, but the only intermediaries that a vending machine needs is a human to come and service it, right? So these things can promising faster, cheaper, and more transparent transaction processing. And so far, mostly DAOs were just all in like the cryptocurrency sphere, right? By replacing many intermediaries, the DAOs themselves act as a digital intermediary that provides transparency and scale, giving them a stature of an organization without the traditional organizational constructs of entities, groups, managements, characters, and other forms of collective action. Man, that was a run-on sentence. But anyway, we literally just talked about that, right? And I think, guys, I would say that the reason why all these things, these DAOs are created now, based and revolving around finance, at least if it's not a directly finance, it's GameFi or whatever, right? Because that was out of necessity, all right? Any of you guys who are my longtime viewers, you guys already know what I mean by that. The problems that we have with the current banking system, right? And thus, smart people and people that care about the world, people that care about humanity out there decided that they wanted to, they were like, hey, we're forced into kind of making these protocols, right? But that started it. And the thing that we're just talking about with the DMV, the stuff that we were just talking about, the DMV, can easily be done, replicated, the same kind of thing. And I think more so in the future, people, organizations, groups, even governments are going to look at these DAOs now and say, wow, that works seamlessly. It actually saves time and money for everybody. It's a net positive for everybody. We should probably replicate this with other things other than just completely direct finance, right? While the traditional centralized organizational structure is being challenged, which it is, we already know that, right? The great rugging, the great reset. The key organizational elements that remain are fueling a new economic revolution that is giving birth to a new creator economy, and bringing artists, lawyers, developers, and creators together from all around the globe to create ideas and monetize them at a global scale in permissionless crypto economic systems built upon blockchain and Web3 technologies. And essentially defining the future of work. It's funny, this part right here, lawyers and developers created together from around the globe, literally going through a project right now for Guava Labs that has required our legal counsel in a different continent to discuss with us, developers, our team, creating a protocol for some people. So literally it's true. Like literally, I feel that. I feel that sentence though. I feel that. And essentially defining the future of work. So another thing too, like this, the part about it being all throughout the globe, like that's not just because of DAOs, guys, and cryptocurrency. Like we're more of a digital planet now, right? Things are a lot less location dependent. Like you can have a business and you can run your business and sell your business, use your business, interact with your business, interact your business with people in any country, right? I don't have to get on a plane anymore and go fly to, I don't know, Chile, where Mr. Patricio is right here, to let him come and sit and listen to a lecture. He can just hop in the Zoom webinar like he normally does, right? Which is really kind of cool if you think about it. It's kind of mind-blowing and pretty important to consider the fact that it opens all of us up to a lot more opportunities. Reduced dependence on trusted parties, tokenization of assets, and new stores of value enabled by blockchain technology can themselves enable new types of organizational structures and reduce the power of intermediaries, that's the most important thing, right? The reduction of power from the intermediaries, because usually, inevitably, over time, intermediaries beget more intermediaries that beget more intermediaries that beget more intermediaries, and it just ends up clogging everything. It ends up making things slower. It ends up making things more costly. It ends up making people more frustrated, right? So if you were to think of humanity and the evolution of humanity into being something bigger and better and brighter, things like that are eventually going to get eliminated, right? Ronald Coase's famous essay on the raison d'etre from the firm, the nature of the firm, explored why firms exist and what elements compromise them. That's interesting. I should actually write that down too, because I actually want to read that. So what is this? The nature of the firm. By Ronald Coase. All right, so let's see Mr. Coase's graph. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Mr. Coase, if you're even out there. Marginal cost of not using the price system. All right, so on the x-axis, we have the firm size, and then the y-axis, we have the dollar. So marginal cost of using the price system, marginal transaction cost. That is quite an astonishing curve right there. Oh boy. So from a transaction cost perspective, the firm creates an economic structure where the transaction cost within its boundaries is reduced by greater control of standardized contracts with its employees and ownership of resources. Yeah, obviously, right? As the cost of internalizing resources increases, contractual agreements with other firms in specialized areas result. Transaction costs associated with contracting can be drastically reduced by the decentralized verification and smart contracts enabled by blockchain. And these contractual agreements can interact with other contractual agreements if programmed to do so. So it's not like that's nothing that you can do. It's actually even easier, right? Basically takes all the problems out of that and you get all the benefits. While this was the initial thesis behind DAOs, with speed, efficiency, and cost being primary objectives, DAOs now represent a significant piece of the mindshare governing the primary driving force behind value extraction from the base layer or layer one blockchain platforms. And for the guys out there who are watching that are in the blockchain fundamentals course, that's what we're going to be going over tomorrow. The layer one blockchain platforms represent the emerging Web3 technologies that aim to provide greater control to participants by fundamentally decentralizing computing, storing, and interacting. Many DAOs will emerge to represent the collaboration of a global talent pool, digital natives, and the ingenuity of a community that shares a common belief system and bringing them together to bringing the term organization to life. DAOs, pillars of the creator economy. A broad definition of DAO. Well, let's see. Mentorships. I think we kind of like we can probably skip that and explain this. Like, actually, here's a good graph we should probably look at. The history of the internet. Guys, you probably already know the difference between Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. If you haven't, go check out one of my videos on Web 3. But I guess we should pause here and check this graph out. Web 3, basic HTML emails, right? So just the internet emails. Web 2, interactive, informative and interactive, information-centric. Web 3, decentralized, private, and secure. User-centric, based off the user, right, guys? Not Google. And so as far as the creator economy part of it, like, I mean, you could just have a DAO handle anything that, I don't know, let's just say you're Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain might not have done what he did if he was able to just use a DAO and use Web3, right? Cody Moose says, I don't know about other states, but there are like privately owned title shops that can just do it. Just about everything a full DMV can do here in Texas. Yeah, okay. We call those express DMVs in Louisiana. You can get a new license, like you can get an updated license, you can get an updated ID. But if you're moving from out of state in these places, and this is, I'm pretty sure it's probably the same thing as in Florida, but actually Florida does not have these because I Googled them. If you're moving from out of state into that state, you can't go there and just swap your state. You give up, relinquish your other state's license and get the new state's license. But yeah, those things were the bomb. And it was like, instead of paying like the $12 you would at the DMV, you had to pay $45. So it was worth the money and the time that you saved. You just literally go in there. So you don't have to go to the state-run DMV. Yeah, in Florida though, I believe you do. Nasa Drake says, I'm in Florida now doing reconnaissance. Texas definitely suits me more. But the beaches in Florida are nice. There's beaches in Texas too. I just don't think they're as nice as Florida beaches. But yeah, good. Glad to hear that you're doing your reconnaissance. Sounds like you already been to Texas, right? Or are you going? Is that the next stop? Is that next on the plate? All right, guys, let's get into the part of this about the jobs. The future of work. Okay. Web3 as a technology paradigm aims to provide rails for creation. Rails like a framework, right, guys? Creation, tokenization, and movement of value and assets. The Web3 aim to solve content ownership. That's important. Content ownership and provide portability of digital assets by tokenizing them. Okay. Tokenizing these digital assets paves the way to trade this tokenized value of or for other fungible tokenized assets. So like a stable coin or Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever, thereby enabling creators to monetize their work effort. So now creators have the power to monetize their work themselves. They don't have to depend on a large corporate organization that may or may not bend them over and show them the 50 stars, right? These work efforts may include, but are not limited to, mining and the creation of content, such as art, music, other forms of non-fungible tokens that represent a state in an ecosystem, much like gaming tokens. In a future where dynamic, borderless organizations without hierarchy can undertake much of the value creation, a supply of services is more conceivable with interconnected value networks, exchanges, and bridges providing connectivity between these ecosystems. That's a run-on sentence too, my friend, Mr. whatever your name is that wrote the article. You could have put that in 2 sentences, but I digress. These decentralized exchanges or asset bridges not only provide an avenue to exchange various asset classes, but also facilitate the global movements of assets, thereby creating truly global economies, like we were just talking about, guys, that attract digital natives and a talent pool. Decentralized organization. Wow, what a nice picture. What a nice picture. So that's pretty important, right, guys? That's pretty important. Like anybody can use DAOs, should be able to use DAOs in the future for their benefit, okay? Especially if you're just like the starving artist or the starving developer or whatever. You don't have to depend on some sort of large governing corporate entity to give you your income, boss you around, tell you what you can and can't do. Not only do you have the ability to get that income yourself, you also have a say in the changes that are made from these protocols, right? Nassim Dre says, already spent 2 weeks in Texas and loved it. Now I'm spending 1.5 weeks in Florida. I'm definitely moving to Texas. I thought you had one more place to go check out, right? Or am I wrong about that? Am I wrong about that, though? Am I wrong about that? Or that's it? But good, dude. I'm glad to hear that you found a place that you like. It's okay if you don't like Florida. I forgive you, bro. I forgive you. But hey, you picked the second best. You picked the second best at least, and that's Texas. So good on you, bro. Good on you. Let's see. DeFi Web3, Elation Creative Juices. Yep, that's it. This article was co-authored as the second co-author, Anarath Natrajan, and this is the guy that was on the top of the article. Yeah, you guys should DM them on Twitter and tell them to stop using run-on sentences because it makes it hard for me to read. It makes it hard for me to read. Will DAOs be used with NFTs in the future? They already are. Some places, but yeah, I mean, well, first of all, they already are, but yes, for sure. I mean, like, I'm trying to think of a use case that's not done yet. Well, just like, and this is kind of well, no, that's not a DAO because there's no community behind it that actually takes a vote. All right, so what if we had what is the governing body that governs real estate transactions in the United States? Let me see. Real estate governmental 40. I don't know what to query. Police power is the governing regulates. What are the governing powers in real estate? Police power, eminent dominant taxation. Well, okay. So if anybody has ever bought or sold a house before, especially if you're like taking a mortgage, but even if not, like the sale, you actually don't get like the title of the home until like money is in escrow. Your money is in escrow, getting ready and verified that it's enough and able to be sent to who, let's just say you're buying the house, it will be sent to the people that are buying it from you. And you have to interact with all kinds of people, all right? And you gotta get this physical title, and you gotta blah, 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 do all this like blah, 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 blah. You sign so many papers. If anyone's ever bought or sold a house, even if you like, let's just say you're buying the house and you bought the house, you gave them an offer and they accepted that offer, boom, immediately. Perfect offer. You didn't have to even take a loan out. You had to pay in cash, right? Everything was perfect, right? It's still going to take quite a bit of time, and there's a lot of just like monotonous red tape that requires you having to talk on the phone with person A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You got to deal with a realtor, and you got to they got to get paid too, and then the seller's realtor has to get paid. So you're dealing with all these different parties to get basically a piece of paper that says that you own a house, right? Perfect example, non-fungible tokens representing deeds of homes, right? And you can interact with a DAO, and that DAO basically does the entire procedure for you. So there's no red tape. I want to buy this house. This house is for sale. They're not going to tell me no because they don't like greasy Italian people. And so they're not going to be biased towards me buying the home. They don't even know who the fuck I am. I'm just an address. Just an address. And you click buy, mint, boom. It does a verification. If you pass that verification, the NFT that represents the deed of the house is inserted into your wallet. So yes, perfect example of, I believe, I mean, there's already people that are working on this. Literally, there's people that are working on this right now. At least ways to do this. Is it going to happen anytime soon? Not until Uncle Sam decides to stop being boomers and to actually, not until Uncle Sam, at least in the United States, decides that they don't want to become a third world country and they actually want to be a part of the leading edge of the new up and coming, hopefully, free world. Free world for half of us and not free world for the other half, right? Because you guys probably already kind of know my thoughts about that. But perfect example right there, Nonstop Dre. And I mean, if anybody in here or is watching the replay has ever bought a home or sold a home, what more could you want to just instantly get that house sold, liquid deposited right into your account, no intermediaries. You don't have to lose like 25% in total from all these different fees and people that had to get paid out, right? And then the other person is happy as well because they have a house, a property that they want almost instantly if they pass verification. And obviously probably wouldn't be instant, right? But perfect example right there. And then people in the organization, maybe you need to own tokens for that protocol in order to update and make changes for it. So I don't know, that DMV. If you guys really think about it, if you're doing anything that you replacing anything with a DAO, just code in general, that you hate doing, that you think sometimes people will do a bad job of because they're biased. I mean, The opportunities out there are endless, and they're coming, friends. They are coming. Trust me. They are. So take advantage of it, guys. Take advantage. That is all I have for you guys tonight. Hopefully, by Wednesday, I will be feeling even better than I am now, and I'll be more ecstatic to pop in the stream. I love you guys. Have a good night. I'm out.